Warning. Are we about to get 7 in a row? That's right. Pay attention. We have the low 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can we get a 7th? Because over here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can we get a 7th? That's a really easy pattern, right? Yes. Well, we also told you that easy dollars were here. So if those easy dollars are going to prevail, what does this 90-day extension really mean? It's pretty simple. Why? The wheels on the bus go round and round. There's temporary relief on tariff news, and then no progress is made. The wheels on the bus, they go round and round. That's right. This has been very predictable. If you trade it through the first term, yes, everything's just around the corner. And then it's what? It's not right around the corner. This is where the news today is driving a lot of lithium producers higher because Caron, a very big producer of batteries, told us that they're going to be pausing for 3 months. Wait, 3 months. There's usually 30 days in a month. So 3 times 30. Wait, that's 90. And they did it first. So, oh, that's right. 3 months is equal to 90 days. So the wheel goes round and round. Ironically, 90 days from today is November 9th. If we have a look here to our calendar for the future, we note that on August 19th, we have Apple, and then we got a meeting happening here. There's even more meetings happening. Let's have a quick look over to our calendar because even before we get to there, what do we have? In the first 2 minutes, I want to make sure I deliver all the value. Here we go. Fully bully boomtown, buy all dips above 610. We're still above 610. We still have higher lows. Good. On the daily chart, we're going to have the same note. Higher lows are sufficient. That's what I was joking about here at the very beginning with all these arrows. What's the story? Higher lows. We've done it for 6 days in a row. And into the close, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen here. They pumped it. Look at that, right? Let's go back here to regular trading hours. Oh, yeah, right? The 350 clue. Normally at 350 or 350, they start moving the stocks higher. We were at the low of the day, sitting here at 634. And then into the close, they rallied it here by roughly 1.5 points, which gave us a little bit of cushion if we look back here to the daily chart. So if all we have to do is to maintain those daily higher lows, let's just do this here. Oops. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Let's go back here to our delete tool. There we go. What that basically means is that now tomorrow we have to defend the current area, which means that if we're able to defend 635, it means we're going to be maintaining that higher low. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. If now we zoom out to our weekly chart, what does our weekly chart say? Oh, that's right. We wanted weekly higher lows for easy dollars. So this is exactly what happened today and why I'm still here at 2 out of 4, because technically we have a weekly failed breakout. This is where, depending on what chart you look at, you can get different stories. You want a bearish story? Look at the weekly chart. This is where we have a bearish engulfing candle followed by a closing at the high of the week. We're likely going to get a higher high. That would get us to 3 out of 4. What do we have? Well, if we look up here to the H, last week, we had a high of 637. This week, 638. 638.95 to be specific. That is a to the cent double top. I missed that until right now because I was way earlier. Exactly a double top to the cent. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Yeah, because back here was almost exactly the same thing. It was 479 and then 479.98. I remember I was trading back then. Ooh, are the easy dollars gone? Well, 90 days, that's a long time in this market. It is. 90 days is a long time. We'll come back to this in a moment if we need to. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's just ironic that the day after his extension is next 90-day extension is going to be the day before COP. Something I've been watching very, very closely. Candle's a pretty big company. If you're not sure of who they are, they also they supply some batteries to Tesla. So Contemporary Amperex Technology Co. Right? That totally sounds like a normal company. Yes, that's why they call it CATL, C-A-T-L. Back at the end of June, they announced a $6 billion groundbreaking in Indonesia to go vertically integrated. So battery materials, manufacturing, recycling. Yes, this company is global. And this is where the joke that I made earlier here might be very interesting. This gambler's fallacy is something that's very interesting with people who trade stocks, because if we look here objectively, I mentioned this before, the crescendo is there, gap downs are for buying, we held the higher low, we continue to go higher, and into tomorrow, it's not a guarantee. If we lose the daily tomorrow, which means we actually print a daily lower low, that means that as we look on the higher time frame, we're actually getting more evidence here. It is a fail break. So we have to be mindful of what people are going to be thinking for tomorrow. That's the Are we going to get 7 out of 7 in a row, or the title from today? So what is a Gambo's fallacy? It basically means like, oh, I went red 8 times in a row. Let me see if I have the picture here. I thought I did. Right? Yes, it is a universe's master plan because it is time to roll on the 6. Or I have to go all in on red because it went for black 4 times in a row or 6 times in a row. Well, that's what I joked about just now. Are the wheels going to go round and round? Are we going to get 7 in a row? Hey, we'll find out. All right, I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. If you could please consider smashing that thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. Thank you ahead of time. What I want to do now is to start to close a few things out. Hey, let's go back in time 2 months. Why? Because 2 months ago, this exact thing that they shut down, they're like, no, we're going to ramp it up. What are we going to do? Oh, mega up. They're increasing production massively, right? Shows the hunger for the high-tech economy. What they're saying is that we're going to ramp this mine up and then we're going to make it idle. That's the photo you saw today. That is the lithium mine. So when they say that we're going to pause for 90 days, yes, that is after they've already ramped it up massively. They're idling it. Why? Because they were asked to. So this is what they're doing. They're idling it. I think if we look forward here, there's another really important ingredient. It's polysilicon, and I'll tell you the reason why. If we go here to the Department of Energy, we can look at where we are today. Where are we right now? Short term, we can have a look right here where silicon carbide, other things like neodymium. That's the news release we saw today from, yesterday, from the Department of Defense. Might recognize that logo, and MP Materials for what? A supply agreement. So a supply chain. This is going to show up as a really important theme throughout the next, I hope, the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. So what here they're talking about is that they're going to purchase at $110 per kilogram. I'm not sure if it's mentioned here, but that is 100% higher than where the price is in China. What they're basically saying is that it is uneconomical to produce these things unless you're in China. So this is where we are today, and this is where we're going to be tomorrow. Oh, it gets worse. Yes. So green is good, yellow is bad, and red is real bad, critical, near critical. So the ones that are in red are the ones that are very notable. These ones here: cobalt, graphite, gallium, platinum, magnesium, silicon carbide, dysprosium, iridium, niobium. This one's already solved, right? That's going to be MP Materials. We can scratch that one out. That's what we just read right here. I think the same thing's going to happen with all these materials. Why? Because they're critical. They even tell us. Critical materials for energy. Energy. That's right. That's what we're talking about. Aluminum, copper. All right, tariffed. Okay. Dysprosium. Who knows what that is? Electric steel. Okay, we're tariff that. Yep, tariff it for sure. Metallurgic coal. Yes, that's coke, right? They use that for steel making. Steel. Oh, recognize that. Graphite. That's been tariffed. Well, that's been tariffed. That's been tariffed. Silicon. No one's really talked about silicon. Silicon carbide. No one's really talking about that. No, but all these materials here, I can pronounce some of them. I can't pronounce a lot of them. There's a lot of these things. Rare earth elements. There's critical elements. There's critical minerals. There's all this stuff. So what this really comes down to is that MP Materials is currently leading the way. And what they basically, the way that I'm reading it, again, I'm just some guy on YouTube. Don't take everything I say as the gospel. They were able to negotiate a supply agreement with the Department of Defense. And then they also got a supply agreement with Apple. Why? They're the only mine that is currently online in big, beautiful America. So if you want to have an American-made product, that's going to be MP Materials for now. I think others might benefit. And this is where, if the stock remains in blue sky territory, which right now it is, that's really bullish, especially on monthly higher lows, because this means the sector is hot and the volume is strong, which means we're probably going to see continuation. If we take this story to its next logical conclusion, there's been this other thing called polysilicon. I'm not going to get into what this actually is because people should understand. This is basically metallurgic silicon. It means it's ready to do the good stuff. For what? PV. This is photovoltaic. It basically means a solar panel. If you want to make an AMD or you want to make an NVIDIA chip, what do you need? You need some polysilicon too. So the timing on that was really interesting today. So after you get this, you have to turn it into something. Read the headline here from today. Is their $7 billion plan to reduce polysilicon overcapacity feasible? That's the exact same thing we just heard about for lithium stocks today. So what were those stocks, sir? I think I had them written down on my list. 1 second here. Let me get to them. I think they were on here. Thank you to the people this morning that shared those. I appreciate it. What were they here? We had Abbott, A-Lab, LAC, LAC, yeah, that one's up a lot today, 9%. So these are lithium companies that are benefiting from that lithium pause. Where is SGML2? SGML, let's have a look. 22%. What's going on here? Brazilian lithium company, Sigma Lithium, up 22%. Wonder why this one's up a lot. It's probably a similar reason. They're going to fix the problem. Again, they just said they're turning it offline because they're going to work with friendly countries, I believe. What? A BRIC country. Back to November of 2024. Read this. China debuts polysilicon future trading in volatile market. Yeah, well, it's many, many months later. Let's click on this link. What? gfx.cn/gfx blah, blah, blah. All right, let's go to English. Presto magic. What does this talk about here? Oh, polysilicon, 3 tons per hand, or what? A trading unit. Why? It's futures. Future terms also include deliveries on every month. What? During certain business hours. You can receive what? Delivery grade, which means your 99.99 delivery location is going to be at the warehouse. 5% of the contract value for delivering physical delivery. Physical delivery, yes. They have a futures exchange, which means they can actually sell these things. Lithium carbide, industrial silicon, polysilicon, lithium carbonate. Yes, these are called concentrates. And I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, but we're noticing more progress. So I think silicon's going to be next. Why? It's really important. If you want to make an NVIDIA chip, a Rubin chip, anything, you need that silicon in there. So now let's go to the future and see what it tells us here. Let's go here. Let me see if there's anything else just before this too. So let's go to this week. For this week, we have core CPI going into tomorrow. Core, which is more important to the Fed, is right here. But today we saw like the headline for like 3 or 4 different Fed officials. So I think this number is going to matter less in terms of who is going to get elected next. Who's going to be named the chairman? Who does Trump like? Whoever he says is probably going to matter. This number right here going up is not good. But like I said, we're going to focus on what they talk about tomorrow. Going into the rest of the week, we talked about PPI, or Producer Price Index. That'll come in on Thursday. And remember, when it goes up, it just means that the things you produce today, you have to buy tomorrow, which means if we now fast forward to September, I would have to assume that as of right now, this number would be either in line or higher, because it went from 0 to 0.2. So if it goes from 0.2, I would have to assume, again, I'm not telling you I know the future. I'm telling you that's what I would have to assume. All right, that gets us through here. We talked about the PPI, right? There's our warning. So trade deal is expired. Well, there you go. Got it extended. Boop. Done. We had this meeting on Friday here. It's like, hey, do you like me? And I like you. Do you like me? All right. Like these flowers. I like the flowers. Let's look forward. So wheels go round and round. Oh, that's right. NVIDIA is now going to pay 15% on H20. And Trump was really, really happy with those H20s. Yeah, they're buying the junkers, right? Nobody wants those ones. NVIDIA's like, wait. We make a lot of money from those. We're going to pay $3 billion in tariffs. Yeah, they are. Here's the part that's really interesting. Apple talked about $600 billion investments, only officially announced 2.5. Where Ford revealed $5 billion in investments today was in Kentucky. They also so it's in Louisville, Kentucky. They were also talking about Detroit and another one coming later. Here's what's really interesting. $30,000 for the new vehicle, but they wouldn't show it to you. Why? I think I know. Oh, LFP, lithium ion phosphate. What's the first word? Oh, lithium. Oh, I recognize that word. What's lithium? Oh, a key ingredient for materials. Yes. So what they're going to do is create a chassis tech. So they talked about tree, which means a new way to produce things. They show it right here. So this means they're going to have different units, like a battery unit, the chassis. They're basically going to do the BYD, ding, ding, ding. Why? Because that's what they're doing. Let's have a look here. BYD chassis. And again, Ford's doing a good job here. I'll give them that. Why? Because, well, these are the best. This is what they sell. They sell you this little pack here, and you put a car on top. You just print it on top. Really? Yeah, you just put a shell on top. Oh, that's a Ford now. Boop. There you go. 30 grand. Why? Because the battery's half the cost. They give you the chassis and the battery. That's why they didn't reveal it, I think. I think Trump wants to do it. I think it might happen around here. Why? Well, Apple's $600 billion for silicon. Silicons and batteries. So the most expensive part is the battery. So no one's talking about the battery yet, but because cattle paused today and because Apple next Tuesday, after this peace talks on Friday, he's going to be in Michigan. I'm pretty confident Trump's going to want to be there. Why? This is a big deal, I think. If it's not here, it has to be around here. In the month of August, I do expect something really big to happen. And because Apple's only announced 2.5 out of 600 billion, it's right, what, less than 5%? Where's the receipts on all the other stuff? That's what's interesting here. Ford also did not tell us what specific car it was. They said we're starting with one. People think it's going to be the Ford Ranger. And then what happens after that? Man, who knows? We didn't get to see it. So $5 billion, 3 years in the making, 4,000 jobs. But where's the truck? Right? Where's the receipts? They don't tell us. Okay, interesting. Here's what's really notable. So I'll show you a few more quick things here since the video is already a little bit longer. There's this National Association for Battery Materials. What they tell us are a lot of things that are happening in terms of recent news. Excuse me. GM is partnering with Hyundai to make a whole bunch of cars. It's 5 of them, I think. They're also partnering with Cattle and Chevrolet Bolt and LG. These companies will become very notable. Pause if you need to. Cattle or contemporary Amperex Energy Services and CMB Leasing is also announcing another big swapping for 100,000 cars. That's a big deal. That's a lot of swaps. And then as it relates to anything else here, there's just so much news happening with batteries right now. So I think there's going to be something really big here. And notably, this one right here, Shell is closing down Volta EV. And the media division. Okay, wonder what Shell's going to do. Maybe raisin or something like that, right? Maybe some raisins. Office of Strategic Capital announces the first loan. And oops, that was the part I wanted to show here. It was the this one right here. Because on one of these slides, what it shows us here is a workshop. This is from the Venn Strategies. This is ending in July. And what they go through and show us here is actually the outline from the big, beautiful bill. So they tell us specifically that there's executive orders, tariffs and trade deals, and then funding and staffing cuts. So specifically, there is a lot of money here for supply chains. Remember, Apple's spending for a vertically integrated silicon supply chain. They were in Kentucky. They will be in Detroit, ironically, the same places as Ford. And there's a lot of money for this. So what that basically means is that there's $150 billion for defense, $180 billion for this top one right here. But we're really looking at this one right here. And then additionally, they have cut a lot of credits, right? Let's not pretend like they didn't. But that $30,000 for the Ford was really notable. Did the stock even go higher today? Nah, it didn't. People are like, whatever, right? $5 billion more wasted. Pour one out for the homies because that's all they've been doing is spending. Stock is cheap, pays a nice dividend. Let's see what happens here. So the reason why this matters is because if now we go here, Ford said they cannot compete. They were losing over 30,000 per car. Now they have a high energy density battery. So they were losing over 30,000 per car. Let me see if I can find that. Ford loses on EVs. They were losing a lot, electric vehicles, because now they're going to sell them for $30,000. How? Loss per vehicle. And remember, they restored guidance before per vehicle. I'm trying to see on the other screen. I'm trying to wing this, make sure I don't sound like I'm full of SHIT. All right, let's have a look here. Ford loses on electric vehicles. Ford has been experiencing significant losses on each electric vehicle, with estimated ranges between $48,000 $132,000 per car. These losses are really important. With one report stating that Ford lost nearly $60,000 per EV in a single quarter. So how the F are they going to sell these things for $30,000 each? Something doesn't make sense here. Right? Something does not compute. But they're also not showing us the vehicle. Like Apple's not showing us the receipts. And a lot of people are questioning Apple right now. Why? They haven't shown us the receipts. Let's see what happens on the 19th. Let's see what happens with the meeting on Friday. Let's see what happens with when the West hosts a critical mineral G7 into September. Let's see what happens with the extension here in the peacefire, because Trump is really wanting to be the peacemaker and the unifier, and I wish him well. Why? Because I wish him well. I want the world to do well. Also, really important to see what happens here into September, where they have a grand display, subtle signals. And then additionally, TikTok, right, into the September 17th current deadline, kicking it off into October. It gets very notable here. So sell in May and go away and come back on Labor Day. Well, people are coming back from their summer holidays, so they're getting ready to go back to work, which means they're going to be back at their desks. And there's likely going to be more and more news as we get into August, September, October, and November. All right. Anything else for us to go through? Yeah, the wheels go round and round, right? No big surprise there. For this week, we know we're bullish. So to summarize it, at roughly 20 minutes, a longer video today, but I feel like now, hopefully, you are ready for the rest of the week. What's really important here, let's go back in time. And now that we're done with this update here, I would really encourage you to pay attention to it because, like I mentioned, if MP is down now, so we'll see what happens, right? It's currently a failed breakout. And as long as we remain above that blue sky breakout at roughly $60, I am going to be personally looking at buying it here. Right now, I'm 45% cash in my retirement account, my 401k. Let's see what happens here. I would buy it here. This is a beautiful chart. That volume is strong. I'm very, very, very bullish on the sector if you don't already know. And I'm hoping that by the end of the month, it's going to become a lot more clear because that 90 days on lithium means that now those prices are likely going to go up. And at least for that issue, the wheel can go round and round onto the next element. By the way, there's over 50 of them. So yeah, it could be a long couple of years here. It could be a very long couple of years. All right, back to the notes. So technically now we know reasons why we could go up or down. It could be CPI, it could be PPI, it could be Trump, it could be the European leaders on Friday, it could be something doesn't happen. It doesn't really matter now. The note that is here is relevant because now for the weekly chart, we can't be we can't be wussies, let's use that word, if we go all the way down to a weekly higher low now. Why? Because that's where support is. I warned you we would do this. So if tomorrow we print a daily lower low on the S&P, we don't get the 7 in a row. We're going to go back to 2 out of 4 bear because we're going to print the lower low and probably close below it. That is where now going into the weekly close, we have to be mindful of support because it would be ideal that if we lose the daily, we shoot down to the weekly higher low. Why? Test it. Let's make sure it's support so we can push off of it into the close of the week, just like today into the last few minutes. They put the pump machine on, right? They're like, yeah, pump it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, right. 4 minutes. That's it. they took it all the way back up. It's definitely not for options or whatever here, right? Down, up. Well, what happened? The low got established. It's easier to defend it tomorrow because we said it today. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow.